Hi, hello, welcome to my channel. I'm KC, and if you're new to my channel, I cover everything from song and video reactions to covers of songs to my own music. And most recently, I've been doing shorts, kind of for my TikToks or whatever. So if that's something that you're interested in, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I cannot believe that this year is almost over. Like, I literally feel like I was just here doing a reaction from January of this year, like doing like the Lana Del Rey or something like that, or even doing my year-end stuff from last year. I was sitting on right at this position, and I feel like that was yesterday, and this year just like flew by just like that. But I don't know, here I am again. This time it's not gonna be some long drawn out video where I merged everything into one. That was just because of like technical difficulties. Like the past couple of years I've been wanting to do these lists, these rankings, and it's just like something technical has happened or something like that. So this year, finally, I'm having this work out, and I'm doing my rankings, like my top songs, my top albums, my top music videos, whatever. So I'm so glad I'm finally able to do this. So these are my favorite songs I've heard all year. I've narrowed it down to just 10. Like, I didn't want a drawn out thing. Like, I think I did 20 last year or whatever. And usually I do more than 10, I don't know, but or when I had my Tumblr, actually I used to do it by like for instance, if it was 2010, I'd be like the top 10 songs of 2010, and then like 2013 I'd be like the top 13 songs of 2013. But I wasn't about to do 21 songs, so I just narrowed it down to 10 with 2 honorable mentions, just so I wouldn't be here all day. And yeah, who knows, as time goes on, maybe I will like elongate the list, but for now, that's where I wanted to keep it at, was just a solid 10. And I'm gonna do stuff a little bit backwards. I'm actually gonna start from my number 1, and then I'm gonna go down the list. I know that's probably not typical, but it's my channel, and I get to do what I want. And I don't know, I'm probably not gonna do this for my other videos where I do the top albums and the top music videos, but for this, I just wanted to do it this way. So I'm gonna start with my number 1 first. So let's get into it. Alright, my number 1 pick, my favorite song of 2021 was Good For You, Olivia Rodrigo. I'm not gonna lie, that was my favorite song. I was addicted to it. I can't tell you how many times I played it this year. I'd probably be embarrassed, and then just listening to it on the radio. I feel like everybody had their own like favorite Olivia Rodrigo song this year. I jumped on the bandwagon. I didn't even, you know, a lot of people, especially older generations and stuff, who don't watch like High School Musical on Disney Plus, we didn't even know who she was, and then we like jumped on this bandwagon. But I was all here for it. Like, I know some people's favorite songs were like song was Deja Vu, and you know, some people you love Driver's License, but I loved Good For You. And I think it's partly because I'm a millennial, and because it did remind me of the Paramore song Misery Business, and which she actually had to pay royalties to them for that, but whatever, that's a different, you know, story. So it was reminiscent to that, which might be part of the reason why I loved it so much, but I also just did love it just for what it was by itself. And yeah, it just encompassed this like pop, rock, angsty sound and vibe, and I loved it. I was wondering, like, where has this song been all my life? I wanted this song when I was 17, and I was so mad that like I didn't have this song, because a lot of the material, I mean, yeah, it was this song as well, but even in her album, just a lot of the material was just like so, it reminded me so much of stuff I went through when I was 17, which like is universal stuff. A lot of people go through at 17, but still, I was like, I was just so glad that I did have like Taylor Swift, because that was who was my like Olivia Rodrigo for my generation and my time. Speaking of which, the queen herself, and also somebody who inspired Olivia, who was one of her biggest inspirations. My number 2 spot goes to Taylor Swift's All Too Well, the 10-minute version. And if you're a huge fan of her like me, then you already knew that there was like this 10-minute version that she talked about on a talk show years ago, and who ever knew that we would see the light of day to this. But yeah, she came out with this 10-minute version with a vengeance, and she ate and left no crumbs behind. Like, I was nothing but satisfied with the song. Like, I didn't have doubts, but I was just wondering how this was gonna top the 5-minute version, because I feel like the 5-minute version was just like a masterpiece. It was amazing, and it was already so detailed and heartfelt, and I'm just like, I mean, what more could she possibly like add, this and that? But for me to even question that was just doing, like, I knew I shouldn't have even had a slight doubt. But yeah, rightfully so. Like, she made a 10-minute song a #1 hit, and it also broke a record for being the first #1 that was that long, that was 10 minutes long. The second longest song that ever made it to #1 was American Pie by Don McLean, and that wasn't 10 minutes. It was close, but it was like 8 minutes and some change. So she made history just by doing this, and like kind of inadvertently doing this, because I doubt that she even knew she was ever gonna have to release or want to release this, you know? Like, if everything that hadn't happened with her and her record label and the whole fiasco and like doing the re-recordings and stuff, like how would, I don't know if we'd even see this. So at least some good came from it. I don't know, you know. And I just want to share with y'all a quote from writer Kelly McAfee. I'll link it down in the description down below. It's from Atwood magazine. She said, Swift's lyrics show the range and depth that she always had, but at times had to bury because of the restraints of the arms around her. And I feel like that sums up perfectly how her image was just so curated from her team and like the industry heads around her. You know, that she had to be such this good girl and blah blah blah, and kind of toned down her mature writing at some points, you know. And I mean, case in point, because she drops the F-bomb in this song. She wrote that song when she was probably like 21. Yeah, I think 21, maybe 22, but very early 20s. And, you know, she wrote she obviously had that line where she said the F-bomb. And people are thinking her first F-bomb was on the album Folklore, you know, and some of the songs she wrote in there. Like, the first time she even cussed was on the Reputation album. But come to find out, she had been writing like this, and it was already, I don't know, it was already in her, but they just restrained all of that. But in all, I'm just so glad, I'm so thrilled that this song was released this year and given to the public, and everybody benefited from it. The fans, Taylor, the music industry, like everybody benefited from it, even though it came from circumstances that weren't ideal. So, brava to all two. Put me back into my feelings that I had back in 2012, and then some. Number 3, Telepatia by Kclowe. I love this song. Like, it was just, I don't know, it's impeccable. It was everywhere this year. If you listen to, you know, mainstream radio, it crossed over from like Latin radio to like pop radio, so kind of cross genres. I feel like a lot of people have been on the Latin wave over the past like few years to like 5 years, I don't know, up until recently. Like, yeah, I would say around 5 years ago. I've been on that wave since I was an early teen, I don't know, listening to artists and whatever, but now it's become a lot more mainstream, a lot more common. But I feel like what Callie did that was a little bit different. I'm not saying it's a bad thing if the songs are completely in Spanish, but I feel like it kind of worked in her favor that this was a bilingual track, because Americans who like don't really listen to the Spanish music because they don't understand it, they could at least kind of understand at least half of what the song was. So it kind of like benefited, I feel like, in a way that it was bilingual. And it's just about wanting to telepathically connect to a lover who is far away, which I don't know if y'all have ever experienced it. If long distance relationships, you know that, you know, the anguish that comes with it when you're separated from the person. That happens to be like the story of my life, so I definitely related to it. Maybe that's another reason why I like the song so much. But it's not just that. It's just, I feel like everywhere just hit the marks, like vocally, sonically, or even just the tone of the song. It just matches with the message, the what she's singing about, which is being telepathic. Like, it's just such an atmospheric sound. I couldn't have seen it go any other way. So yes, I feel like this song, you know, had this well-deserved recognition, and there was nothing to change about it that could have made it better. Number 4, I put Pick Up Your Feelings by Jasmine Sullivan. I just love this song. I had it on repeat. Jasmine Sullivan's been around for a while, like over a decade ago. I remember listening to her songs. Like, it's been a while, but she took a hiatus and then she came back. She also came back with a vengeance, like came and ate and left no crumbs, like, and whoever's on her team is doing, side note, but whoever's on her team is like doing a good job because she was like everywhere. As soon as she came back, she's been everywhere. But yeah, I just love this song. I love the message of it, just being like unapologetic, independent. That's that bad energy that I feel from listening to this song, and it kind of reminded me of like Beyonce, like Irreplaceable. Just I was just like, you know, to the left, like hurry up before your taxi leaves, like stuff like that. Like that's how I feel. It was like the same energy with this song. It was so soulful. Her vocals are just amazing. Like, I love all the runs that she does in it. This song definitely didn't lack feelings. At number 5, I have Kanye West featuring The Weeknd and Lil Baby, Hurricane. Now, it's been a long time since I've listened to a Kanye song, let alone album. And this year, this man had me listening to both, like just the songs he released, like on the radio, but also the album, like. And I guess all the stuff, all the marketing strategy and all the antics worked because it did make me curious. I was like, what is it? Like, what is it about this particular album? And also because I know, like, it's named after his mom. I don't know. It must have just been all of that, a combination that just made me interested, because when I tell you, I have not listened to much of Kanye's music in a long time, unless he was, like, featured on a track. But if it was just, like, his song, I haven't listened to it, because I just personally, I don't know, I haven't been able to separate the art from the artist with stuff in his personal life, but I won't get into that, but whatever. Still give credit where it's due. And I thought this song was interesting. I thought this was another one that kind of crossed genres, because it was like, it was rap, it was simultaneously rap, and it was dark, and it was gospel at the same time. And I just thought it was an interesting, like, his artist, the artist he chose to be on it, that was interesting. Like, they all actually did make a good team. And I also just love the messaging of it, just, you know, admitting shortcomings and wanting to change and everything. I will say the only critique I really had on it, because other than, like, I think my favorite part of it actually was The Weeknd's vocals, because they're just like so angelic, and I can just listen to it all the time. Like, and that's crazy about The Weeknd, because, you know, he doesn't really do many kind of gospel type songs, but on this he's like, or, you know, his material isn't always talking about like angelic things. I don't know if that makes sense, but on this he's like singing about, like, is more godly, and it just like fits the bill, like, with his vocals. And I don't know, I would say, yeah, his was my favorite, but my critique was that, like, I feel like The Weeknd and Lil Baby, like, outshine Kanye. I mean, am I the only one that thinks that? Because I don't want to be biased. So yeah, like, let me know in the comments section down below, because I feel like, yeah, like, The Weeknd's like parts and stuff are my favorite, and then I like Lil Baby, and then like Kanye's was like my least favorite. But I don't know if that's because he comes into the song later than them, or if it's just because I do feel like they outshine him. I don't know. So yeah, let me know in the comment section down below. But other than that, I really enjoyed this song. Yeah, it was also one of the songs that I just had on repeat this whole year, or half the year. Number 6, Silk Sonic, Leave the Door Open. Y'all know that I had to include this on my list. Yeah, it's not a list, not a complete list if there's not some Bruno Mars or some Taylor Swift. If it's coming from me, it's just not. So this is from Silk Sonic, the duo that is Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak. And I honestly feel like this is one of the best songs I've heard this year. I'm gonna read a quote from Anya Henry from the Harvard Crimson. And she writes, with liquid gold musicality, velvety vocals, and relatable lyrics, Leave the Door Open creates a sum greater than its parts. And I couldn't agree more with that statement. Like, it just encompasses everything that I have to say. And if anyone knows how to make a nostalgic sound fresh, like, it's Bruno Mars. Like, I feel like this man got a PhD in that, like, got a degree in how to make nostalgic sound and present them to people like they're new. And at first, I am not gonna lie, I was a little bit hesitant to like accepting the duo, because I just wanted Bruno Mars, like, himself to put out something, you know, for himself. So I was like, what? Like, why is he teaming up with somebody, blah, blah. Especially since he doesn't put out albums often. Because it'd be different if he put out albums, like, every 2 years. But, like, knowing how long it takes to do that, it was just like, But I'm actually not disappointed in the least bit. And I think they make a great team. They're both, like, so humorous, so charismatic, so talented. And I could just envision them, like, bouncing ideas off of each other, like, in the studio and stuff. But yeah, they've just become a great team and, like, made really good music. And this was one of the best songs I heard this year. Number 7, Up by Cardi B. This was just that jam. This was that quintessential bop that everybody had to hear after 2020. You know, the first time probably being around people, going to gatherings and stuff. Like, it came out like January 2021. And earlier, I don't know, don't quote me on that, but I know it was very early in the year. But that was the energy we all needed coming out of 2020, I feel like. And I feel like Cardi just has like a certain formula that she uses in her songs. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I'm not saying it's like she's a one-trick pony or anything like that. What I'm saying is that she always brings the energy, the charisma, the humor, and it's always just fun. And it doesn't matter what, like, this was more of a pop rap song, I feel like, but it doesn't matter if she, like, does more, like, the trap more sound or whatever, that's a little bit more serious about what she's talking about, or if it's, like, kind of like a dancey pop rap song. So this was, like, lighter, I feel like, than some of her other stuff, but it still kind of just had that same formula, like, the same undertone, the same, just like her rap style was just kind of like the same. But I'm not saying that in a bad way. Like, it fits for everything. And she brings that to the Latin songs too, when she's like featured on like Latin stuff, or like just any kind of like Latin song she's always done. But yeah, she should stick with that formula. I love it, and obviously a lot of people love it, and I loved Up. Number 8, I have Industry Baby by Lil Nas X and Jack Harlow. I love this song. It's so much fun, and it's so funny, and it's still smart at the same time, and it's so catchy. It has so many quotable lyrics in it, and I feel like that's why it was one of the more memorable songs that I heard this year, and like one of my favorites, because it's just like it had the quotable, like, memorable lyrics. I feel like these two guys are like, they're like at their prime right now. They just both had these smash songs, and so now they're seeing the success of the smash songs that they had. They're both really young, like both in their early 20s. And yeah, they're just seeing how the industry is, like, with all the highs and the lows, and that's what they're talking about. And they're talking about the success and everything, and like all the good stuff, the money, the parties, all that, whatever, but they're also talking about the criticism that they face, and just like the road that they took to get here. And yeah, they just make a really good duo. I liked it. It was nice. I wasn't like expecting it. I don't know. But all in all, it's a really good song. Number 9, I have Kiss Me More by Doja Cat and SZA. This song was just like telepatia. Like, it was just everywhere this year, especially during the spring and summer months, and it was all over TikTok and just everywhere. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of burnt out, but I still wasn't gonna like let that deter me from putting it on my list, because I still really like the song. I love both of Doja Cat and SZA as like individual artists, and them coming together was actually a really good collaboration. Doja Cat has not failed. She's been really good with her collaborations. Like, a lot of the collaborations she's made this year have been really big hits. Like her with Sweetie, her with SZA, like her with Ariana Grande, with The Weeknd. They've all been hits. But this was obviously like her biggest hit, I feel like, this year. It was just, this song was everywhere. But it was like a nice, lighthearted dance pop song. I feel like it was just something that was really fitting for, yeah, the spring and summer months. And last but not least, we go from a very feel-good, lighthearted song to a very sad song, which takes my number 10 spot, and it's Easy on Me by Adele. This song was just a very poetic, just telling of Adele's experience through her divorce, and then like the heartbreak of her divorce and everything. She never fails to bring the vocals. She never fails to bring the amazing metaphors. The only thing I will say, critique or whatever, was, and you know, Adele's an amazing songwriter. I hope to be half the songwriter she is. I will say, as a lead single, I just feel like it wasn't as big of a standout track as her previous stuff, like as Hello or Rollin' in the Deep or anything like that. It was still an amazing song, but it just, I don't know, it wasn't like as hard hitting as those ones, I feel like. But it was still amazing enough to make my top 10. And with that being said, that's like my conclusion of my top 10. I do have a couple of honorable mentions that I want to run by real quick. I just didn't want to do like 15, 20 songs. So I just thought like I'll do my 10 and I'll do like a couple of honorable mentions. So just real quick, my honorable mentions were Best Friend with Saweetie and Doja Cat, just because that's one of my favorite songs of the year. Because it was just like the girl anthem, you know? It was just all the girl anthem, I feel like, for this year. Like, honoring your best friend and female friendship and all that good stuff. My other honorable mention was Pepas, just because I love that song. It was my jam. Just because of the content of the song, it didn't really... I think that's the only reason why I didn't put it in my top 10, just because I'm not gonna push out doing what they're talking about in that song, but you guys can look it up for yourselves, whatever. But as far as like just everything, the instrument, just the fusion, like I said with a couple of the previous tracks, just the fusion of, I feel like, crossing genres. Like, it was like EDM, but I feel like it still kind of had an old Latin feel to it, like some old school Latin feel, but it's like EDM as well, and then new and just dance and just all this stuff. And it was very interesting. It like took me on a ride, because I like songs that are just unpredictable and you don't know where they're going, and I feel like this was that song. So those two are my honorable mentions. Other than that, that's the conclusion of my list. And yeah, there was a lot of amazing songs this year, but these are just my top 10 favorite. These are just my opinions. And this is just out of, I don't know, I can't name a number on how many songs I've heard this year, but it's been hundreds. So this is only out of hundreds of songs. Like, there's so much music out there that people don't even ever know about. So if there is any music out there that you want me to know about or want me to react to, just put it in the comment section down below. And yeah, like, what did you think of my list? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Why or why not? And until then, I will see you on my next video. I'm going to crank out a couple more rankings. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like. And I will see y'all next time. Bye!